The moment your income goes up, something dangerous happens. Not in your bank account, not in your budget, in your brain. It happens quietly, slowly, and with your full cooperation. And by the time you notice it, years of extra income have already disappeared without a single moment of feeling wealthy. This is the trap of lifestyle inflation. And almost nobody sees it coming because it never feels like a trap. It always feels like progress. Think back to a time when you were earning less. You had a number in your head, a threshold. You told yourself that once you crossed it, things would finally feel comfortable. You would save more. You would worry less. You would stop lying awake at 2 in the morning running numbers in your head. You would start building something real. Then your income went up. Maybe it was a raise, a promotion, a better job, a side income that started working. Whatever the source, the number changed. And instead of feeling like you had arrived, you just quietly started spending more. The apartment got bigger. The car got newer. The restaurants got fancier. The subscriptions multiplied. The wardrobe expanded. The vacations upgraded. Every single change felt justified because, after all, you had earned it. You were doing better. You deserved to live like it. But your savings did not go up the way your income did. Your financial anxiety did not disappear the way you imagined it would. And the gap between what you earn and what you actually keep quietly stayed the same or got worse. That is lifestyle inflation. And the reason it is so dangerous is that it never announces itself. Nobody sends you an alert. No alarm goes off. Your spending simply rises to meet your income with such natural ease that it feels less like a trap and more like the natural order of things. Elizabeth Dunn, a behavioral scientist at the University of British Columbia, spent years studying the relationship between income and happiness. Her research, which she co-authored in the book Happy Money, found something counterintuitive. As people's incomes rose, their spending habits adjusted almost immediately to absorb the new income. But their sense of financial security, their actual feeling of being okay, barely moved. They were earning more. They were spending more. And they were feeling roughly the same level of stress they had always felt. More income, more expenses, same anxiety. This is not a character flaw. It is a feature of how your brain is built. Psychologists call it hedonic adaptation. It is the tendency your mind has to return to a baseline level of satisfaction regardless of what changes in your external circumstances. You get the new car and it feels incredible for about 3 weeks. Then it just becomes the car. You move into the bigger apartment and within a month, it simply becomes home. The excitement fades. The novelty disappears. The emotional lift is temporary, but the cost is permanent. Your brain is constantly recalibrating what counts as normal. And each time your income rises and you upgrade your lifestyle to match, you set a new baseline, a higher floor, a more expensive definition of ordinary. And because the new level becomes ordinary so quickly, the only way to get that feeling of progress back is to spend more. Upgrade again. Raise the floor again. This means that to feel satisfied again, you need more. Not more than other people. More than your previous self. You are essentially running on a treadmill that accelerates every time you pick up speed, and the finish line never gets any closer. Now here is where it becomes genuinely costly. Not emotionally. Financially. Thomas Stanley and William Danko spent years studying millionaires in America for their book, The Millionaire Next Door. They drove through wealthy neighborhoods. They surveyed high-income earners. They looked at the numbers behind the lifestyles. And what they found surprised almost everyone who read it. The people with the highest net worth were often not the people with the highest incomes. They were the people with the biggest gaps between what they earned and what they spent. In neighborhood after neighborhood, the people who looked the wealthiest, driving the most expensive cars, living in the largest houses, wearing the most recognizable brands, often had the least actual wealth. Their income was high. Their balance sheet was thin. Meanwhile, the people quietly building real financial security were living below their income, deliberately, consistently, year after year, not because they could not afford more, but because they understood that the appearance of wealth and the reality of wealth are two completely different things. And they had chosen the reality. The trap was not poverty. The trap was the need to look successful while becoming less financially secure with every passing year. Think about what that means for your own life. Every time your income rises and your lifestyle expands to match it, you are borrowing from your future self. You're taking the difference, the margin, the gap that could compound over time into something substantial and trading it for a slightly more expensive version of ordinary. An upgrade that will feel ordinary within weeks. A floor that just got higher. A treadmill running faster. This is not about being cheap. It is not about deprivation. It is not about refusing to enjoy your money. It is about understanding what your money is actually doing when you let it flow out as fast as it flows in. Because money that flows out cannot work for you. It can only be gone. Here is a specific way to see what this actually costs over time. Imagine two people who both receive a raise of $1,000 a month. The first person upgrades their apartment slightly, adds a few new subscriptions, eats out more often, buys better versions of things they already owned. All of it reasonable, all of it comfortable. Within 90 days, the raise is completely invisible. It has been absorbed. It feels like it was never there. The second person keeps their lifestyle exactly where it was. They redirect 600 of that 1,000 into a low-cost index fund every month and use 400 to genuinely improve their quality of life in ways they will actually remember. Dinner out once a week. One meaningful experience a month. A trip they have been putting off. Nothing dramatic. Nothing that requires sacrifice. Over 10 years, the difference between those two people is not just $600 a month. It is not $72,000 per year. Thanks to compounding, assuming a conservative return, it becomes something significantly larger. Decades of this gap create outcomes that look completely different on paper, even though both people earned exactly the same income throughout their entire lives. The person who let the lifestyle expand has memories of nice apartments and frequent dinners. The person who held the line has assets, actual ownership, a financial position that gives them real choices. The behavioral economist Shlomo Benartzi, who pioneered a savings program called Save More Tomorrow, identified one of the core psychological reasons people struggle with this. He found that people consistently undervalue future money compared to present money. A dollar today feels immediate and concrete. A dollar 10 years from now feels abstract and distant. And because the brain treats the future as less real, spending today always feels more justified than saving for tomorrow. The upgrade feels real. The retirement account feels theoretical. This is not laziness. It is not weakness. It is how human cognition works. Your brain evolved in an environment where the future was genuinely uncertain. Spending what you had made immediate sense. Saving for a distant future that might never come was much harder to justify. The problem is that in a modern world where your future self will absolutely arrive, where the bills will be real and the choices will matter, that same ancient instinct quietly works against you every single time your income increases. The wealth builders understand something that most people learn too late or never learn at all. The goal is not to earn more so you can spend more. The goal is to earn more so the gap between what you earn and what you spend grows wider over time. That gap is where financial independence actually lives, not in the size of the paycheck, in the size of the margin. There's a clear difference between looking like money is working for you and actually having money work for you. Looking successful requires you to constantly spend. A car that signals status costs money every single month. An apartment in the right neighborhood costs money every single month. The clothes, the restaurants, the lifestyle that communicates achievement, all of it requires continuous payment to maintain. Stop paying, and the illusion stops. Is an identity built on ongoing expense? Having money work for you requires the opposite. It requires you to keep your visible spending relatively flat while your invisible assets grow consistently behind the scenes. The person quietly becoming wealthy often looks less impressive than the person who is spending everything they earn to appear impressive. One life looks more exciting to outsiders. The other life feels more secure from the inside. One group is spending their time buying things that look like wealth. The other group is buying time itself. Now here is the practical piece. The single shift that changes the outcome. When your income rises, any income rise, decide in advance what percentage of that increase will go toward building your future before lifestyle has a chance to claim it. Not after you have adjusted to the new income and then decided what is left over. Before, pre-committed, automatic. This is the exact insight at the core of what Bernardzi's Save More Tomorrow program proved. When people pre-committed to redirecting a portion of their future raises before those raises arrived, their savings rates increased dramatically without them ever feeling deprived. They never felt the loss because the money was redirected before it touched daily life. The baseline never adjusted to include it. The treadmill never sped up. The version that does not work is waiting until the raise arrives, watching it land in your account, feeling the new income available, and then trying to exercise willpower to save part of it. By that point, lifestyle expansion has already started. The brain has already marked that money as belonging to the present. The new floor has already been set. Willpower is competing against an adapted baseline, and willpower loses that competition more often than not. The version that works is deciding right now, before your next income increase, that a fixed percentage will go to investments first, automatically, without requiring a decision in the moment, without negotiating with yourself while the money is sitting in your account, and then letting your lifestyle operate on what remains, however that remainder grows over time. This single habit, compounded across years and decades, is the difference between two people with identical incomes arriving at completely different financial destinations. You do not need to be earning more. You need to be keeping more of what you already earn. The raise that made your lifestyle more expensive did not make you wealthier. It made you feel wealthier for a few weeks. Then it left you exactly where you started, just with higher expenses and a higher floor that now requires even more to maintain. Your brain will tell you the lifestyle upgrade was deserved, that you worked hard for it, that you earned the right to live better. And it will be convincing because those things will all be true. The mistake is not in enjoying your income. The mistake is in letting your lifestyle consume all of it before your future self ever gets a share. Your bank balance will quietly tell a different story. The moment your income goes up, something important becomes possible. Not just a more expensive version of ordinary, not a faster treadmill, something that actually lasts. A position, an ownership, a quiet kind of freedom that does not require maintenance or ongoing payment to sustain itself. The question is whether you will let your brain spin that possibility before you even notice it was there, or whether this time you will widen the gap instead of close it. That choice, made consistently every time income rises, is the entire difference.